Hey guys, how's it going? Mapex here again. I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to record this video. I end up going off in some random direction about some random thing. There's a lot of stuff that has happened in the past year or two within this expansion, and trying to boil it down to this very basic point of Mapex. What was your journey like through Legion? You know, what did you play? What guilds were you in? So I want to do just that. Stick to the very basics about what I played and the guilds I was in when I was doing those things. So I play currently a Fury Warrior on North American Realms Stormrage Alliance. That is what I have been playing since approximately 2 months into Antorus. I have accomplished a few mythic kills. As far as the first boss goes, I've killed it, I think, 6 times. Did not get much past that. So I'm fairly happy with what I was able to accomplish, but I was wanting to push to accomplish more, which is what Battle for Azeroth is going to be about. Me accomplishing more. Taking what I've learned and being able to apply myself even further to try and take those extra steps to get further, more into Mythic. Not cutting edge or anything like that, but just, you know, I want more Mythic experience. I'm very driven to do that, and that's what I want to do. So with that being said, I guess my journey would start in around pre-patch area. I was going to go in to the expansion as one of the main tanks for a guild called Close Encounters. Close Encounters was my guild, essentially. It started off with 3 people, me, and then 2 IRL friends that we had, and we were going to make this guild and do great things like you always plan to do, but it doesn't happen quite like you plan it. For example, the 2 people that I was setting up this guild with and whatnot, they ended up stopping playing the game, and so that's fine, you know. So I ended up taking all the responsibilities for myself because I wanted to see my guild be successful. So with that being said, I came in as a Blood Death Knight. I did not like how the Legion Blood Death Knight started out as. Even currently, I think it's a lot better now that it's had a little bit of aid here and there from Blizzard. You know, a couple buffs, little extra things added, etc. Haste values increase, except, you know, as the expansion goes on, the class develops and it flourishes into what it was potentially supposed to be. So I still play it from time to time, but I'm not really looking to do a whole lot of tanking going into Battle for Azeroth for now. So I got my AOTC with this guild for Emerald Nightmare. Alright, so yes, Emerald Nightmare AOTC, and we also did all of normal Trial of Valor. We got Helya down on normal, but we were not strong enough as a group, being that it was our first raid ever raiding together, to actually go in and complete heroic. So towards the end of Emerald Nightmare, I switched to Brewmaster. Love Brewmaster Monk. It is probably one of my favorite specs in the game. If I were to tank anything, it would be on a Brewmaster Monk, even today. So with that being said, I played Brewmaster for a while, a long time. I played it for the remainder of Emerald Nightmare, all of Trial of Valor. I played it going into Nighthold. We got AOTC Nighthold. I played it going to Tomb of Sargeras. Got AOTC for Tomb of Sargeras. In Tomb of Sargeras, about the last little bit of it, my guild fell apart. So 4 or 5 of us went to find a new guild. That guild was Blood Promise. So they needed a couple tanks, some DPS, so we went and did that. Going into Antorus, I raided about 2 months at the start of Antorus, and then from there I had actually gotten, I think it was 9 out of the 11 bosses down. Yeah, I was 9 out of 11 heroic on like the first week or something, I think it was. But anyways, yeah, so I pushed heroic really hard going into that first little bit, and then I was just like so far ahead of my guild, they hadn't even started normal by the time that I was, majorly done with heroic, etc. And so I was like, I gotta stop. And I also went and wanted to find a guild that was more matching of the progress that I was wanting to obtain. Obviously my guild hadn't even stepped into normal, and I was really pushing for heroic. Not to say that they wouldn't be capable of doing those bosses, it's just I saw an opportunity and I felt like, I was ready to start pushing for a higher level of content, a higher tier, which is Mythic, and that's when I started looking into Mythic. So I geared up a Fury Warrior, which my Warrior was the second thing I had ever level capped in Legion. They were really, really strong in Emerald Nightmare, but it was because they were overtuned. So when they were, rebalanced, I didn't like how they played, and I was just kind of like, But, yeah, so I started out as Arms Warrior when I started DPS Warrior, and I played Arms for a little while, had a couple legendaries, and, I had the Mortal Strike hands, and I had the trinket, Kill Jaden's Burning Wish, which is pretty good for Arms in certain situations. Not best in slot by any means, but I had the hands, which was one of the best in slot legendaries for Arms. And I was just like, why would I play Fury when I can do just as well with something that's so much easier? Because I thought Fury was like this incredibly complex spec, and there's a lot to it, and there was. But yeah, so I was just like, why would I do Fury? And this one person was like, kind of egging me on to do Fury, like, hey, try it out, whatever. And I was like, all right. I gave it a try. I sat there at the dummy finally one day, and I was like, all right, I kind of like this. And I wanted to learn it because I like to learn things like this. I like to sit down and figure out how things work, break it apart, and learn it, and do it. And by doing that, I began to like it a lot more. And then, my computer would only get like 4 FPS in raid, so I was like, I can't try to be more competitive and go into Mythic as a tank. It won't work. It won't happen. And I was like, I can't. It looks like a slow-moving picture book. The pages just turn, so you just stutter and walk everywhere. And I was like, no, I can't do this. I can barely do this stuff sometimes on heroic because it's just the amount of latency is just horrible. And that's like on my end, of course. It's just a computer hardware issue. So I went Fury, and you can actually see in my Warcraft logs where I had a really bad computer and I was doing like green parses, and then you'll start to see that I started getting more into the purple until where I was like mostly purple parsing on all the fights, which I felt good about. I was getting into a higher level and I was trying to break logs apart and figure out things for myself. So yeah. So, came in as a Blood Death Knight, went to Brewmaster, and then went to Fury Warrior. How that happens, it just amazes me. I never would have expected it going into the expansion. I never would have expected it ever. But I love it. I'm going to main it, and that's what I'm going to do going into Battle for Azeroth, and I'm going to own it. So that's what I want to do. So I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to spend a lot of time making sure that I can do my best and get into that higher level of content that I want to get in. And with the guild I'm in now is very capable of doing that. A bunch of great guys and girls. So that was my story. I hope you guys liked it. If I encourage that you guys also tell your story. If you want to just type in the comments below, or if you want to post a link to a video that you made, whatever you want to do. I'd like to hear other people's stories. I think it's really cool to see what other people go through and what they've been through and how their story is unfolded and being told and how things happen. I like to hear that kind of stuff. So, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, just tell me why in the comments you disliked it so I can improve upon it. in future videos. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, and if you want to get notifications, hit the bell. So really all there is. But I'll see y'all around. So take care.